Hi guys, it's Rick Shiels down here at Quest Golf Studio here in Lytham, and I'm going to test now the Cobra King F6 Plus. I've just done the F6, so this little rascal, which I've just taken the shaft out of to use in this, Cobra King F6, definitely go and check that out because it was quite interesting, the results of that. A couple of weight alternatives. You can put it in penetrating and in towering, and how it performed on GC2, go and see that already on my channel. So moving into now the Cobra King F6 Plus. So the Plus driver, which is pretty much the replacement for the Cobra Fly Z Plus. And then I've also got a Pro version down here on the floor as well, which there's not a lot of difference. I'll talk about the differences of that one anyway. Something brand new for Cobra, they've brought in a very, very deep sliding weight mechanism, so a movable weight, which the movable weight is 18 grams. That's quite a hefty amount of weight. You can move it from the front of the driver all the way to the back, penetrating setting, and it goes back in little notches. Really 4 different settings. It says 5. I'm not sure how it would get in that 5th setting. But anyway, it moves all the way to the back for the most forgiving setting. So all the way to the front would generally, as a rule, be your least forgiving setting, but lowest spin and longest hitting as a rule, and a little bit more penetrating. You've obviously got your middle setting, which is just very neutral. And then you've got your towering setting. I do love those words, towering and penetrating. They could have just done with something a bit more creative than mid. Neutralizer. That would have been a good word. Neutralizing. So, 18 gram weight. This driver head comes in black, blue and white. I've got it in the black, which I much prefer the colouring of. I think it looks like a different shaped head to the F6. It's not quite as long, whether the colour influences that. Really, I mean, you might be able to hear that. Not quite sure what this actual material is, but they've stripped the weight from the crown, which a lot of manufacturers are doing, sticking it into the bottom of the driver to help with launch and forgiveness. It's got the my fly loft settings as well. I've just got this in 9.5. I've got it in the extra stiff flex, standard, nothing that is different, just the standard FS flex, which is a matrix, black tie, yeah, 65 gram, you know, a shaft that I've used before in Cobras. Should we give it a hit? Should we give it a hit? So on screen at the moment, I've still got up the F6 shots. Now, what I did find with the F6, if not hit from high enough on the face, it just seems to spin a little bit too much and doesn't get ultimate distance. Incredibly forgiving and straight. If you can get them higher on the face, it just unlocks a whole new world of distance. It's got the speed channel still on the face, which is the kind of cavity almost moat around the face, which helps with the off-centered hits, keeping the ball speed high. Let's give this a scratch. I love the look of this head now. This, obviously in the black, suits mine a bit better. Oh, that was nice. I've got this in mid setting at the moment. Oh, it's just a little bit pushy, but felt like something very different, very solid feel. It's a responsive head. Feels very responsive when you hit it. Feels like as soon as you hit it, you know exactly where you've hit it on the club face. Very good feedback from the club head. What I'm going to be doing in a couple of weeks' time as well is doing my 30 golf ball test with it. So stay tuned for that, because that will give a real highlight of when it's hit longest and straightest and furthest and where on the club face it hit using the HMT. I don't believe in 5 or 6 shots you can really, really summarise a golf club fully. Well, you can't summarise a golf club fully. So this is kind of just a bit of a brief look at how it performs. But stay tuned to the 30 golf ball test I'll be doing in a few weeks' time. And the best way of doing that is to make sure you do subscribe so you don't miss a single video. Let's get actually in GC2 would help. Okay, so that felt really good. Very long hit, a little bit pushy that time, but more me than the club. Let's give that another hit. Oh, that feels different gravy. Oh, hello. Hello. That was great. High off the club face, very, very good hit. This, again, is the driver that I suppose on paper should suit me slightly better, even the Pro version. The difference between the Pro version is just a loft, and it comes in a fade setting. So I can go lower lofted, a bit like the King LTD that they brought out. It's almost identical, well, it is the identical head, but the hosel is different, where you can go from 7 degrees up to 10, and the fade setting. So this weight at the moment is in middle setting, or neutralizing setting, setting as I've now called it. That didn't feel that good off the face, as in the hit wasn't that good. Let's see how it's performed still. Yeah, it's a little bit toey. Look at that for a toey golf shot. So it's drawn to the left of the hole, but still performed outrageously good. Spin numbers are much better on this, much lower. Which way round should I go with the weight? Should I go, let's go weight forward first. So it just screws up. It's not the easiest mechanics to move in the world, but I suppose you're not going to be moving it that much. Once you've got it custom fit and set in, you shouldn't really ever need to move it. I've got adjustable drivers I've had in the past, and once you've got it in that setting, it doesn't really change. So let me just let me clear some of those shots so we can see how that's performed so far. 295 carry, 2,100 spin. Let me just clear those out, all out of the way this time. So this is now in penetrating setting. I've not changed the loft, but it probably, from a custom fitter, you probably would, because if the penetrating more is lower spinning, you'd probably want to add a little bit more loft. Let's get it in the right zone. So this now should effectively be a little bit less easier to hit because it's less forgiving. The moment of inertia, or the centre of gravity has moved forward, so always makes it a little bit harder to hit a driver that way. Let's see what it does. I love the look behind the ball, sorry. So is that a little bit of a sign of things when the weight goes forward? I mean, that's a bad golf shot. But is that because more of the weight's gone forward, or was that just a bad golf shot? Let's hit another one. It felt okay off the face. Let's disregard that one so much. Let's hit another one, see if that's the forgiveness of the driver that slipped, or whether that was just a bit of me then. No, it feels slightly off, harder to find middle there. I reckon it's longer, yeah, it's huge, but I don't know, it just feels like you've got less of an area to hit, which is, I've not often felt that with a driver when I've moved the weight forward. I reckon when hit right in the middle and off the right spot, it'll be very, very good. The actual sliding track is almost at a bit of an angle across the head as well, so it's not dead straight going back. It's from the toe of the driver to the back of the heel. So that'll have a little bit of an influence on ball flight as well. And as always, you know, God, I mentioned this loads, do always get custom fit. They know, they're the experts. They'll custom fit you and know where that weight needs to be the most. So one more in its penetrating setting. Oh, when you find the middle, it's a definite lower ball flight. Oh, look at that. It's got its advantages. Obviously, when the weight goes further forward, that was a significant lower ball flight and a much better total distance and carry distance. Just on off-centered, are you going to get a bit more punished? I think you will do. Personally, I think you will do. Let's go weight all the way back this time. I think I mentioned before that this track is called a carbon track. It is made out of carbon. See, it's just a little bit fiddly that weight, but I suppose you're not going to be moving it that much. The guys who are going to be custom fitting Cobra drivers probably will get the knack of it. So I've moved this weight all the way back this time now, the 18 gram, all the way back into the head. So in theory, it's most forgiving setting, but it's towering setting. And let me just to give you a bit of an idea. Like I said, this is not my full-blooded review. This is a snapshot of what this club's doing currently. If you want to see the full review, come back in a couple of weeks where I'll have all of the data lined up, 30 golf shots, knowing how it performs off different parts of the face. You can't give a club a full summary on only 5 or 6 shots. Right, so towering setting. So this kind of weight's moved back and almost into the heel of the driver as well. So let's see how this kind of performs. It'll be good to see this. So this goes back, it'll be almost a little bit more draw biased. That weight goes a bit more into the heel, it'll be a bit more draw biased. So this is almost high draw, where at the front is your low fade to it, I would suspect. A little bit more, you would imagine that, the way that sliding weight is moving through the head. The most forgiving setting. Oh yes, I think that's the one I would do it in. I think that's the exact setting that I would hit it in. Look at that. Yeah, that is the setting that I would hit it in. Most forgiveness. In that 9.5 degrees loft, it's just an absolute fly machine. That felt awesome. It gives you the options though. If you want to go further forward and you want that penetrating flight and you find middle enough of the time, hey, go for it. If you want a bit of help, you can stick it in the back of the driver head. Nothing wrong with that at all. Oh, I love that. Look at the difference of flight as well. How much higher that is compared to the penetrating. I love that. Love it. How good is that? So I think once it's been fine-tuned, and I have been custom fit for these, by the way, so I know what my preferred setting is, and it is further back in the head. These drivers, all three of them, when you get it in the right spot on the head, which is typically a little bit higher on the face, above the equator line of the face, flying machines. They really do seem to go a long way. Guys, stay tuned for my 30 golf ball test with each of these clubs as well. Going to be coming out in a couple of weeks' time. I just think that's the only fair way you can actually test a golf club using the GC2, showing on the club face where it's hit from, but on not 5 or 6 shots. You can't do it enough. It'll be a time where I'll be very much concentrated on the 30 golf shots I'm hitting to give you the most accurate data possible. Guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please do give it a thumbs up. Comment down below what do you think of the new Cobra line. Well, that's pretty much it. That wraps us up. Thanks for watching. Do subscribe, and we'll see you next time.